Today we are going to talk about working with the seasons, what spring can teach us about feminine wisdom, and I'm going to share with you decks that I'm going to work with this season. Hello my love, it's Rachel here. And here we are, it's finally spring, even though we are still having some cold days here in the north, especially here in Ontario. I live in Canada, if you don't know. But here we are. We are excited, we are happy, because even though it can be a little cold, still a little cold, we can feel that breath of fresh air. And I would like to talk to you a little bit today, because I come here every season, right? Every beginning of season I come here and I share with you decks that I want to work with, spring, summer, fall. And today I thought that it would be nice for us to share a little bit about our work with seasons, and I would like to share with you why I do it. And I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts and your experience as well. So I live here in Canada. I've been living here for the past over 10 years now. And well, I am originally from Brazil. And truth is, in Brazil, we almost live in an eternal summer. Even though the area where I came from, we do have winter there, but nothing compared to what we go through here in Canada. And one example is that our trees there, they always have their leaves. It's not like here. So all those colors that change with the seasons, that's an experience that I only learned here, living here. And I would tell you that it is one of the main gifts for me. Living here in this place with this kind of weather really helped me a lot to understand myself. And it feels like at the same time that it helps me to live life in a more conscious way, being more aware of the passage of time. It feels like there's always a cycle going on. And in the end of the day, that's what life is about, isn't it? So I really love how the weather, how seasons, they help me to understand life and how I made them over the years an special and important part of my spiritual practice and my worldview. We have our seasons in the year, but we have seasons in our lives as well. So that's what people say, right? We were born, and then until we are like a teenager, it's like spring. Then in our adult lives, we are like a living summer. And then when we turn 40, we start living fall. And then finally winter. And I feel that much more than that, that is something that I don't feel that much like that. I feel like we keep living through our lives moments of winter, moments of summer. I don't feel like it's so marked with age, at least in my personal experience. And for me, I learned that it's okay when something reaches that moment, that death moment, when it's winter. It's fine, it's okay, because rebirth is going to happen. Renewal is going to come. And when it comes to working with spring, what is spring can teach us about feminine wisdom? Feminine wisdom is that art of learning and reclaiming and embracing our wisdom that is connected to our cycles, our intuition, our way of navigating life. When it's winter, I love winter. I love fall and winter. But winter, it feels a little bit like the hermit energy, right? We are usually a little isolated. Again, I didn't have this experience back in Brazil, but we do have it here, because there, we would have a barbecue outside during winter. That's something that we don't do here in Canada. In winter, we naturally stay more inside, even though we can go out, yes, but we are not going to go out and just sit at a park like we do during spring or summer or even fall. We cannot do that in winter, especially when you have tons of snow out there. So winter is white, it's monochromatic, right? It's totally the hermit moment in our lives. And then after this moment of introspection and sometimes stillness, it's more something internal. When spring comes, we really feel the change in the air. It's like that breath of fresh air coming to the window, and it's like that first stretch in the morning, early in the morning. But what is important to keep in mind about spring, it is not to rush. Because sometimes after so many months in stillness, we may feel like, oh my God, I have to make up for the lost time. That's illusion, that's not true, but we may feel that. And then you wanna go and rush things. And spring is not like that. For me, spring's like inviting the Empress into our lives, right? So what I would like to share with you about spring is be patient with yourself. Be kind. Don't go out there and, oh, I'm going to go for a run and I'm going to super stretch. No. Remember, the muscles, they are still soft. Our skin is pale. So don't overexpose your skin to the sun. Don't run to do things. Don't rush. And as we start navigating spring, the question that I like to make myself, and I invite you to make as well, is what seeds are you planning to plant? It's moment to bring our tools out, check our tools, right? Our toolkit, see if everything's fine there. Then you can start watering the soil, we can prepare the seeds. And something again that we have to be very careful is to not go there and plant way too many seeds in the same soil, in the same space. They will not have energy enough to grow. They will not have nourishment enough to grow. So when it comes to everything that you want to manifest this spring, be aware of that. Be aware of, okay, where am I trying to just rush and make things happen? And what is really ready for me to plant, to grow, and give its fruits, right? Fruits and flowers. It's moment to honor whatever wanna come into life through you. The Empress energy inside you. Think that's what spring teaches us about feminine wisdom. And now I would like to share with you some decks that I really want to work with this year, this spring, this season. I decided that I would not bring almost all my decks that feel like a spring. No, I decided to bring just a few decks that I really want to work, an intentional work. Of course, I don't know if I'm going to work with all of them. I don't know, maybe I'm going to work with other decks as well, but I want to share with you what I'm feeling right now. So we are at that moment, as I told you, in between winter and spring. Actually, spring started already, but you know, as I just told you, we have to be patient. It's a process. It's a process, right? It's not like I woke up one day and ta-da, spring. It's a process. And during this time, I've been feeling like working with the Paulina tarot, because she has this kind of energy in between, because in the end of the day we are in a between moment, right, between winter and spring. And look at these colors. So she feels like that dark, that one start having some color, and for me she's been perfect to work throughout this, let's say, this liminal space that we are going through now. She's fantastic. She's talkative. She's so clear, Yeah, because sometimes people think that because she's a busy deck, and I love busy decks, that she's not clear. No, 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 she's extremely clear. Two decks that I've been working, I've been working during this time as well. One of them is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. This one here, it is a deck that for some reason I was really feeling like working with in this moment between spring and winter. Because of this artwork, it really reminds me of working with ancestors, you know, like especially my father, my mother, grandmother, grandfather, and all the ancestors that want to show up to work with us. And this deck, I've been working with this deck as an overarching theme. And she is, of course, as you can see, very clear and very, very moody. She's a little dark. She goes beautifully with the Paulina tarot. It's a beautiful deck. Another deck that I've been working with a lot, of course, is Earth and Bone. And for me, this deck feels so special because we have skulls and flowers. So it is about that liminal space in between spring, winter and spring. And I already talked about this deck several times here in the channel. It would probably be on my top 5 decks of all time. And she's been gorgeous. She's extremely sweet. Another deck, don't let this artwork fool you. Beautiful artwork. It's not a dark deck. I mean, dark's not bad, right? But she's kind, she's sweet, she's like a cheerleader and a supportive soul, right? To walk the path with us. Now, I want to share with you this deck that I've been feeling like working with her this winter. This is the Da Vinci Enigma Tarot. This deck here, I'm planning to create a video about healing the masculine, okay, or working with the masculine. And this deck would be in that list of decks. I don't have many at all. But this deck here, it is a deck that brings me the energy of my ancestors, because my father's father, he came from Italy. And then it is a deck that brings that ancient wisdom for me, DNA wisdom. And of course, I love Leonardo da Vinci. So if you love Leonardo da Vinci, especially these sketches, right? This one can be an interesting deck for you. I wouldn't say that it is the best deck for a beginner, but if you love Leonardo da Vinci, this deck's fantastic because it carries this masculine energy that I'm telling you, but in a more warm way. And if you are somebody like me that has some Italian blood, I think it could be a great deck to work as well with that part of your family. Now I just feel like I have to show you this deck because she's my spring deck. The Lina Strider Tarot, I think, is this one here. And this deck's almost the opposite of the kind of decks that I usually like, because I like busier decks, busier artwork. And this deck, you may look at her and think, okay, she can be read almost like Lenormand, right? But if you look at her like archetypes, she's very talkative. She brings lots of energy, and in a symbolic reading, she does a great job. It is a deck that for me it feels like air and water, and that brings us to these two oracle decks that I'm working with this spring. One of them is Healing Waters. It was a gift. A beautiful and amazing student of mine, she gifted me this deck here, Healing Waters by Rebecca Campbell. And this deck is fantastic to work with the element water. And I feel like I'm in a moment that I need to be a little kinder with myself, gentle, let's say, towards myself. And this deck's like medicine, water medicine. I feel like all kind of sources of water, they're represented here. So ocean, lakes, well, right, etc. River. And this is a deck that brings, well, I just said the medicine of water. Yeah, it's healing waters, and it feels like she was able to really translate into this deck this idea of waters, these waters that can heal us, that work like a medicine for us. Another deck that I'm going to work with for the first time now is this one here, Messages from the Mermaids. I love working with mermaids energy, and this deck as well was a gift. Another beautiful student sent to me as a thank you for our mentoring process together. She loves this deck, and she knew that I loved mermaids as well. And it is a very, very interesting deck. I would say she can go deeper than you would think. Yep. Because you may look at the look. It's just one deck with one kind of keyword. The guidebook's really good, guys. The guidebook's really nice. These images, they are great for active imagination, to meditate with them, talking with them. A great deck. Another deck, for me, of course, another deck that is related to the water energy. And I like to work with the water energy. Of course, we are going to work with water energy throughout the year, but I like to work with water energy during spring as well. And that will bring us to another Rebecca Campbell's deck, the Rose Pocket Oracle. I already said then, don't buy these decks in pocket edition, guys. No, always buy this one here, the standard, because the artwork's not nice in the pocket. I saw that she just released another one in pocket. I wouldn't buy this artwork in pocket edition. If I could come back on time, I would buy this one here, regular size, but I'm not going to buy the standard as well. I don't need both. But anyways, this is a deck connected to the rose, of course. I have one thing that is like this. There are some things that that bring me some kind of smell. I have some deck. I have another deck like this. It doesn't happen all the time with everything, no. It's very specific, you know? And when I look at this deck, I can smell a strong scent of rose. I can. I'm talking to you, I am holding this deck, and the rose, it's almost overwhelming, but it is very interesting. So it brings that aspect to my practice, right? Bringing the roses, even if they are not around me, I can feel them when I work with this deck. Now, two decks that I'm working with this spring for sure, they are the Tarot of Aphrodite. I love her. I'm not even going to show her because she's on my video about the 5 decks that and there's so much nudity here. Oh, it's so beautiful. She's on my video of my top 5 decks of all time. I'm going to link that here. And this deck I used to connect with the Muse energy. So I work a great deal with the Crown. I work with the Crown and the Muse throughout the year, but on winter I really feel the presence of the Crown, the Wise One actually. And in spring I really feel the presence of the Muse, even though I feel her in all seasons. But now for spring I will for sure work with this deck and this other one here. I was working with them during the winter as well. Unravel Your Inner Goddess is the oracle, and they work beautifully together. Beautifully together. Look at this deck. This deck here is so accurate. She's more like messages, And it feels like every time I draw from this deck, she gives me some message that I really need. They are very simple messages. I had to cut because there was some nudity. So I was saying that they are very simple messages, but they are spot on. Do you know when you get that message that is so simple that you even stop and you, that makes you think. And they are wonderful together, the perfect pair. A deck that I am feeling like working now in spring. It's a deck that I'm not that into this deck for some reason, but I'm feeling like working with her. But I'm not that into this deck, Soulful Woman. It's not my style because it's more like affirmations, right? I don't usually work with decks like this. So it is a deck that I already thought, should I let her go? And I always end up bringing her back, right? So let's see what's going to happen with us this spring. Maybe I'm going to love working with her and she's going to stay. Maybe I can feel like she should go. But she's an older deck. I don't know what year, but you can see 2016. She has the nice cardstock, Blue Angel cardstock, because I think now they are making all their decks with more like a matte cardstock, which is not my favorite. And last but not least, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I plan to finally work with the Enchanted Forhaxa. The Enchanted Forhaxa, is that correct? Enchanted Forhaxa Tarot. So she's been here with me for a while. I used her a little bit. We worked together a little bit, but then I put her aside. And one of the reasons was one specific card that was not, my cup of tea. It was the Emperor. I didn't like that card that much, so I was like, let's see. But I want to see if I'm going to work with her this month and with the Fairy Forest. I shared about this deck with you last year for spring as well. It was a beautiful surprise, a deck that I was not using that much as well, and it was a beautiful surprise. Now while I'm talking to you, I'm just thinking about other decks that I'll probably want to work with this spring, this season. And if something very special happens, I'm going, of course, to bring that here to the channel. And something important, I'm going to start sharing more on my Instagram, because there are things that sometimes they are not the best things to bring to YouTube, but I'm going to share there. So if you feel like following me on Instagram, we can have a interaction there. Thank you so much for being here. Remember to watch my video. I have my top 5 decks of all time here. And let me know how you feel spring. If you do something special, what decks are you working with? And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much, my dear. Sending you lots of love.